I
Mhm.
got to ask because Bolts fans are going to want to know, like, how does some of these guys like Jano and Mikey Acimont, like, how are they fitting in there? Are they like bottom six guys that are contributing?
Yeah, so honestly, I think Janot might be my favorite story here. And it's because I remember when the whole Nashville trade went down, and like, he ends up a Tampa Bay Lightning guy. And it was like, oh, we'll love him if he can put up 20 plus goals like he did in Nashville. And I think what was tough is that nobody looked like, we get excited about players, but we don't realize how much goes into it. Coaching, system. I learned a lot about system with the Lightning, which is why like I'll always refer to any knowledge that I have through, that pipeline. But for Tanner to get to Tampa Bay, not be a 20 goal guy, then he gets injured. I think it was either first the Islanders or the Rangers. And then before you know it, like systematically, he just wasn't a fit. Then he ends up just taking on more of the physical presence and ends up in LA. Well, Marco Sturm was with the AHL team in LA and had a good view of what Tanner Jeannot could be in what kind of system. So what's cool is that when he got to Boston, a lot of people rose the same questions. If he's not going to put up 20 goals, what can he do? And then you find out that he actually has leadership qualities that this locker room leans on. So he's been really good in terms of like with his bottom six role being a bit of an energizer. Like when it feels like things are getting stale out there on the ice, Tanner Jeannot's parked up net front and kind of opening up an opportunity that ends up turning into a momentous moment for the team. I think he had 2 rebound goals within the first month of the season. So in that moment too, you're like, okay, when things get really gritty, you can rely on Jeannot. So I think he has a different appealed to him because Sturm deemed him a leader in this locker room. He's not just a guy who's going to be a physical presence. He labeled him a leader. And I think it's kind of encouraged him in a different way. And he's got a pep in his step when he's out there on the ice, but he's been rotating in from the third and fourth line. Right now, he's currently on the fourth line with Sean Corrali and Mark Kastelik. And they've been such a driving force because Marco Sturm said he's going to rely on his third and fourth line. He's going to expect him to be able to play big minutes, and he's going to be expecting them to take on top liners against opponents, and Tanner's really taken on that role.
What's Acimont doing up there? I heard him scoring like some goals to the beginning of the season. Is he still cracking the lineup?
Yeah, here and there. So he actually just drew back into the lineup versus Nashville. But for the most part, he had a consistent role kind of jumping between the third and fourth line. And then he kind of locked in on the fourth line to help be a driver down there. But it's nice because he can come in and just be his fashionable self, which is driving hard to the net, using his speed to create chances. He's really good when it comes to second and third chances when the team needs it. So on a lot of road trips, you've seen Mikey Acimont, and then when you need that speed against certain teams, you've seen Mikey Acimont.